My name is Justin Onat Graham.
And my name is Nariba Shepherd.
And this is Terms of Service. Finale, baby! Season 2.
In the books after an hour and 15 minutes. Official.
Of sound check. Because also we've gone through a little bit of a journey. So we're still in our wonderful home studio. So we thank them always and forever.
Yes.
Blind Barber. However, it is not Sunday morning in which we are accustomed. We're here on a Monday evening.
Yes.
And all of those things kind of, it's different vibes.
It's different vibes.
Yeah.
It's different time, different vibes.
Yeah, the technology was just like, hold up.
I don't fuck with technology.
Well, you know what? We fucked with it for about a solid 75 minutes, but we're here now.
Yep.
And everything is great. How are you feeling, Nariba?
I'm feeling
this is end
weird.
of season vibes.
It's end of season vibes, and also like busy season in the industry is coming upon us.
Yeah, I mean, because when this drops, it will be early June.
Yeah.
Patio season, baby.
It will be in full swing.
Oh, absolutely.
I'll be back at that Riverwalk, just making sure that we don't get robbed. That's basically what I'm doing. It's not even bartending.
Okay, you're just like, okay, so...
Just existing.
Okay.
So preparing for that. Working in a kitchen again is ripping my soul out of my asshole. So, yeah.
Well, sorry to...
But you know what? It's just helping out my friend, and by mid-May, it will be...
So it'll be like dust in the wind. So by the time that this drops, that might just be
it's not even gonna happen.
Memory.
No. Kind of like my 32nd birthday. That's in 5 days. You're welcome. I'm letting you know.
Yeah, no, of course. Cool. Mad Aries energy.
Yes.
On that.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Well, happy early birthday.
Thank
even though,
you.
Again, when this drops, it'll be post your birthday. But
I don't care.
You can celebrate
my birthday forever.
Every goddamn day.
Yes.
If you want. So, again, happy birthday.
Thank you. How are you doing?
I'm fine. I feel like that's always kind of like my static response. Everything is lovely.
I know, and then I remind you about everything that you're doing, and you're like...
Yeah, well, I mean, just like, as the 90s kids would say, to keep it a buck, it's been really real out here, and I'm tired, but I'm doing my best, and I'm happy, but I'm looking forward to being happier.
Okay.
So, because happiness is a journey, I'm loving how I'm finding that out. And,
so life right now for you, bop or flop?
So life right now for me, it's a bop. It's a bop, but you know what? I would also say that it's a little bit of a blop. It's a little bit of a blop.
A blop.
Yeah, because it's just like, again, I'm tired, juggling, like, just all of the things, which anyone that knows me, it's, it to be true. But, I just like, I'm looking forward to summer. I'm looking forward to doing the things that are prioritizing myself and those that I care about.
So rosé all day?
Oh, it's rosé all day, period. So, like, it really doesn't matter. But, yes, there is that. Also, I have been reconnecting with a very dear friend of mine who is getting married extremely soon. So, congratulations to Erica. Boop, shout out to you. And it just kind of, like, puts things into perspective.
Fair.
We were talking about earlier, independent woman over here, don't need nobody to take care of me, but I'm an absolute baby if I get sick.
Yes.
And felt a little under the weather, and I was just like, who gonna drag me to the kitchen? Who? Because I can't do it myself, actually.
You need to
because
get
the orange juice ain't worth it at that point.
You need to get those rolly thingies that the kids stand on. You like...
You know what? We're going to circle back on that.
Okay, I don't know what they're called.
Okay, well, you know what? I'm not going to circle back on it at all, so it's okay. But on that note, we have this amazing, amazing guest, and I just cannot gas this up more. So I'm just going to let her do it her damn self. Alisha, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are y'all doing? I mean, I already know how you're doing. I've been listening.
Okay, well, yeah. Thank you. Well, thank you for checking in.
Oh, yeah. Of course.
Really happy that you did that.
It's been an amazing 75 minutes.
Thank you so much.
Sound check.
I know, but we got here.
We did.
We got here, and one, can't thank you enough for that. And then two, thank you again for joining us.
Absolutely.
Yes. So I feel like
Standard operating procedure.
yeah,
Even though Alisha very recently read my cards for me.
but that's exactly what I
circle.
was getting into.
Yeah.
As per tradition,
Mm-hmm.
what is your sign?
Yes.
I am an Aquarius sun.
I know that's
We
goddamn
knew
right.
it already.
Thank you.
Virgo rising.
Absolutely, yes.
Libra moon.
Mm-hmm.
Amazing.
We are the
Amazing.
Virgo rising gang right here.
Yes.
Is that true?
Yeah, that's your rising.
See,
Oh, that
because I
makes
don't know
so much
my own. I
sense.
don't. Oh.
Oh, no. Like,
Am I crazy?
yeah.
Oh.
I feel like as an Aries, I need that Virgo rising.
I mean, it grounds you.
I'm a double fire sign, so I need that.
So, like, the Virgo rising just makes you a bit more, like, anxious and, like,
Yes.
a bit more down to
Ooh.
earth and a little bit more tethered, but also still bananas.
Yeah.
Like, I'm
Okay.
sure that you all have, like, a million to-do lists that are all for, like, separate parts of your life.
I don't believe in lists, but I do feel an overwhelming anxiety to accomplish things, which I think is
Right.
the Virgo.
Yeah.
Mm,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
It is manifested in a different way.
I love it. Well, hi again and welcome. So we already got the astrology part down. Talk to us about who you are.
Yeah, just tell us a little bit about you.
Yeah. So I am a cheesemonger, tarot practitioner. I
Amazing.
bartend, I serve, I do a little bit of everything, I guess. Right now I'm like hearing my voice. I'm like, I sound like a stone kid, so that's a part of me as well. But yeah, I guess what I'm most known for right now and like what's like at the forefront is that I'm a cheesemonger and I happen to be a black cheesemonger.
Yes, you are
Yes.
in fact
Yes.
black. Yes.
Yeah, I have to check every now and then. but-
So, in the words of Nariba, would you say that you are Beyonce 2016 black, or
Or like so this is a thing that I talk
want
about
Nariba to bring this up?
frequently.
Yes.
In 2016, I realized all of a sudden that I am only seen as a black woman. And growing up like Caribbean, they try to separate you from like Black Americans. They're like, we are different in these ways and blah, blah, blah. And then I realized one day that like everyone sees me as black. They're not asking like additional follow-up questions.
Right.
And America is not set up for black people. Just
Facts.
in case anyone was wondering, it's not set up for us.
Breaking news.
But I was like, oh shit, like Beyonce is like black now. The white people realize that Beyonce is black. And I feel like it was a further incentive for me to like be like, it doesn't matter if you're from a Caribbean island or you're from Africa when you're in the US, because you are representing just one color,
yeah.
essentially. And so I say that in 2016 was when I like fully achieved blackness inside and outside, so to speak. Like it was something that came to the forefront of my day-to-day interactions, because one of my bosses was like, you have the confidence of a white man. And I was like,
What?
yeah. He was like, you just like, he's like,
Yeah.
you just have the confidence of a white man. You just like say and do whatever the fuck it is you feel like.
That has nothing to. Oh, ew.
It's, yeah.
Oh my god.
Right.
But in a way,
yeah.
because of like where in the industry I was, I can see what he thought he was saying, but I realize that it's just like, I just realized that I'm good at my job. And if I want to change things, I have to change them myself.
Right, and a lot of that comes from just the overall, just whiteness of the industry, right? To where, it's just, it's just like blackness is okay within this scope. Being mixed or light skinned or carrying yourself a certain way is okay within another scope. But like you're never going to get to your ultimate goal, no matter what that is within the industry, unless it's co-signed by that of whiteness.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like even when I was executive chefing, it was like the owners of the place they were white, and it was like, I got co-signed by these white people. That is how this has happened.
I'm loving this look on your face.
I wish everyone could see it. I'm just like going through all these emotions, like disgust, and also like, yeah, I understand this. And like, I'm again upset at like confidence of a white. No, you're proud of who you are.
The
You're also-
woman was
Absolutely.
appalled.
Oh. So I guess along this logic, 2016 Beyonce for sure.
Yeah.
Especially with like the features that I've had and the places that I found myself in, like pre-pandemic, and also especially right now, where I am super blackety black, and that is a part of my identity. I can't really separate that from like how I do cheese, because the further I get into the industry, the more I'm just like, this is not okay. And the fact that you're still exoticizing me means that you're still shook.
Yeah.
You're still scared. And like, I don't love that. That's not how I really operate.
Right.
And that's not acceptance.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, no, of course. I mean, and I know that we're going to get into it, quite extensively, figuring out how you got to this point. And the reason why we bring it up is because that's a big part of these conversations. And it's like, I don't know much about the cheese industry. It might be called something different, so please check me.
I know
if it's
cheese
a-
industry is
okay.
good. All right, we can actually say specialty.
Specialty.
Let's
Yeah.
go with specialty food industry.
Specialty food industry.
Yeah.
Yes, it's like that's something that I'm not familiar with at all. But maybe when you think of like luxurious products and like things like that, like caviar and just like, when you think of
The
purveyors.
regalises.
Exactly, and it just like that feels distant.
Yeah.
And like being next to you obviously it just feels more tangible.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's closing that distance is really what I'm about right now, like these
Great.
days, where like, I don't necessarily want to say it should be accessible, but like, you should be able to like walk in anywhere and be like, I want caviar, without like
Yeah.
feeling like you shouldn't belong there because of the color of your skin
Exactly.
or your education.
Also that.
Yeah.
And I think the education thing, I feel like it's a cultural thing. Like, it's not... I want it to be different. I want it to bridge the culture gap between people who do eat caviar and people who don't eat caviar. Because I feel like that shouldn't exist. And I don't want to sound like a bougie bitch, but
Right.
if you're not eating your caviar on chips with creme fraiche, what are you doing?
Keep it.
I mean,
I want it. You don't like caviar?
I'll do sour cream.
Yeah, so it's just my personal experience with caviar was like very traditional, because that's kind of how it was within L2O at the time that I was there. And when we got to like taste 3 bits of it, I was like, not for me.
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen people like, just put it on a chip with like, some creme fraiche, and you're just like, boom, like this is a jam. There's people out there that do like caviar bumps. This is real. I'm not making this up.
What
so,
the fuck?
Yeah. What?
I
I'm
swear.
upset.
Up your nose?
No.
Oh my
Oh,
god.
okay,
no,
that was
no,
my
no,
thought when
no,
you
no,
said
no, no.
bump. I was like,
no, like just
tell me more.
no, just like flat out, like called caviar bumps, and I'm just like,
That I don't want to say what kind of stuff that sounds like, but that's a certain
it's very specific. But we already know.
shambonging right after that.
Yeah, there we go. Yes.
Shambong.
Yes.
I have
Yeah.
some.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Someone gifted it for me. Actually, Rick, one of my old bosses, him and his wife gave it to me for my 29th birthday.
See, so we're coming back on the birthday thing, but that's fine.
It's in 5
Okay,
days
there we go.
from
Yes.
when we're recording.
Yes, there
So
we go.
yes.
So there we go. So then on that note, again, happy birthday.
Happy birthday, baby.
Nino Reba.
Thank you 2 times.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so actually, I feel like this is a perfect time to mention that we have this beautiful concoction from Ryan of the Garnet team. And this is actually coming from our friends at Three Floyds Distilling, which y'all may be very familiar with them in regards to their beer making. But this woman-owned and woman-ran company out in Munster, Indiana is killing it. And we are enjoying their Three Floyds Aquavit and gin with a dill shrub, this dry vermouth over a Corey ice cube. And it's taking me on a very interesting journey, which I feel like is on topic with this conversation.
This is delightful.
Yeah.
I love that it's like kind of like sweet and also kind of savory.
Yes.
I love dill and cocktails.
I
Yeah,
love
like
a
this-
savory cocktail.
Yeah.
Delightful.
Yeah. This is nice.
It also feels like it wants to give us a little bit of like cucumber vibes. Like
Yeah,
it
'cause there's
feels
a
like it
refreshing
very
element to it,
refreshing,
you know?
yes.
Yeah.
Like if I was gonna pair this with something, it'd be like a cumin like Gouda, like laden or something like that. And just get like, oh, I'm so sorry, I do this all the time.
I love it. Yes.
Yeah, I was just like, human Gouda, say less, but also say more.
Okay, when you said it just now, it sounded like human Gouda, and I was like, say less.
Oh, okay. For those listening at home or wherever you find us, human Gouda. Thank you, Nariba. Back to you, Alicia.
No, I don't know if like you guys are. I just want like some more like earth with this, or that's what I'd be looking for in a cheese. Either this or like Conte, like holler hocker with like some like
Conte.
big onion notes to it. Maybe a little bit of rye.
Justin's like trying to learn about cheese right now.
Okay, you know what? This is
Getting
what we should have been
excited.
talking about during the 75-minute sound check, but I'm going to follow up directly with you because this sounds amazing.
Heard.
So-
yeah, no, please give me. If Ryan will give me the recipe for this, then maybe I'll give you some cheese recommendations.
Oh, okay. Well, we're going to talk about that offline, and Ryan's right there, so we're going to get a thumbs up, and we're going to figure it out. So there we go. So, with that, it's been interesting to, touch upon your experience within the industry. I'm looking for like specifics of where
Where
you've
did
been.
it start?
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh. Okay. So it's actually really funny that we're shooting in this neighborhood because my first restaurant job was right down the street.
Oh,
I opened up Public and Quality Meats.
okay. PQM.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. And I don't know if you've been in there recently. Like their cheese case is really small, but it's curated. And I started there as a barista, and then they moved me to server. And they're like, "Oh my gosh, you're smart and you like really like food. You should be a pastry assistant." I went to school for religion. They had me working brunch.
Yeah.
300 covers, and
Oh,
I'm
yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah.
how do I make cookies though? And at one point, Sam Radob was just like, I really love you, but maybe you should just go put the cheese case together at PQM. And that's where because like growing up in Boston, I grew up in a food desert, and like
You're from Boston?
I'm from Boston.
Yeah, I didn't know this until like last year. And I was like,
Amazing.
how do we not talk about that?
Yes.
like-
yeah, and I totally want to circle back on that because I spent a lot of time on the East Coast, specifically New York, and yeah, I've always had questions about Boston. Shout out to Boston, kinda, because I got questions.
Listen, I've been here this whole time and you've never asked me any questions about Boston.
Nariba and I like two neighborhoods away from each other.
Vermont.
Yeah.
We always talk about Vermont.
Fair.
Also fair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There are questions for Vermont too.
I mean,
I love it. But okay, so before we like get
Heard.
off of Boston, we both lived very close to, do you remember Wentworth? Like the architecture college school?
Yes.
My nephew just got in.
you lived in Boston?
Congratulations.
I went to elementary school in Boston. That's why I was saying, like,
Damn.
So when Nariba asked me about which project did I grow up in, I'm like, well,
I grew up in the projects.
which one did you grow up in though?
The orange buildings in Roxbury Commons before they like broke them down and now they're all those townhouses.
Like what cross streets?
Damn, y'all.
I smoked too much weed for that memory.
Okay, fair. I
Damn.
mean, I went to BLA. Was it close to BLA?
It was like 3 blocks towards the water, so east?
East. Okay.
Yeah.
If you were to point it out on a map, I would know where you were.
Oh, I could point it out on a map, but we ain't got that right now. No.
We got a whole ass globe over there, though. But you know what? We'll work on it. Rand McNally, if you're listening, feel free to reach out at connect@termsofservice.media. Thank you so much. Back to you, Alisha.
Yeah, so I mean, where I grew up, like it was technically a food desert, and I didn't really have much experience with like specialty cheese or anything like that.
Also, not to interject, for those that are not familiar with the term food desert,
We also have
can
an
you speak
episode on that.
Yes, but can you speak on that?
I was not near a grocery store or anywhere to buy fresh food.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you would have to drive about 20 to 25 minutes to Puritan Supreme in like Roslindale in order to get things. And like most of it was canned. Like I did not have a ripe pear. And not saying that like all grocery stores are like this, but like there's certain things that you cannot find
Right.
Yeah.
in these neighborhoods. Fast food was very close though, as it usually is.
As
There
it
was
usually
like
is.
this pizza place / barbecue joint that was like 2 blocks from the Roxbury Orange Line station. And then a convenience store that literally you can like see the needles on the ground as you're going to
Are
it.
you talking about Douglas Square?
You damn right. Yeah.
Wow.
It was a time. But yeah, Boston neighbor. It's like they don't want to talk about the segregation, but it's
Well, and
pretty-
that's and
pretty
that's what I was
segregated.
alluding to, because when I said Boston, I got questions. It's because like my experience with Boston was V white, and it was it was just very direct. It's just like there's white people everywhere. I didn't really know that like people were like in Boston like that like looked like me, that had
Listen.
like heritage like me.
Yeah.
Does
So
Boston have a
surprised.
black mayor right now?
No.
No,
No, there was a black
something.
mayor.
There was a black mayor, right?
Was it? Is it now? I don't think it is. Mm-mm.
No.
I don't know. Okay, we'll find out. But
I don't know. My boyfriend's real white, and he was like, "This is a lot." When we went to Boston
Yeah.
last year, he was like, "White people are looking at me suspiciously," and I was like,
can't.
"That's because they can smell you're from Florida."
Oh yeah, they can. Yeah,
Damn.
that
Yeah.
Boston Brahmin, they know when you're not their own.
You don't say Martha right. You don't say Harvard right.
Harvard.
Harvard.
Oh my
You
god.
got it. Yep. Mhm.
Harvard.
Oh my god. Hearing this makes me think of it's a very specific movie that always seems to come across my suggestions. The Departed. And
my
I was just
God.
like,
I will
like that
never.
is how, like
I
that,
will
like, it
never.
just-
Listen,
it just
I accidentally watched Batman the other day, the new one. I'm saying accidentally, but
no,
I
you
chose.
didn't. No,
we
you-
went on purpose.
We talked
Hunter
about
and I
this.
went, and it was so fucking bad, Justin. It was so bad.
there's no other Batman to me. Outside
Michael
of Christian
Keaton?
Bale and Michael Keaton. So
Okay,
excuse me.
there we go.
Yeah,
And-
that's where I'm at. That is where I will be.
yeah.
And
I had high hopes. I don't know it.
we can go ahead and keep
5 out of
those hopes
10.
high, but you know
Yeah,
what? It's
5
just
out of
like
10.
it's just like the streets are talking. I feel like it's 50-50, bop or flop. But you know what?
Flop.
I'm not entering the chat. Okay, not entering the chat. I'm just gonna let it ride. I'm gonna let it be what it's. I'm gonna let it be its thing. Okay. So that's all I got to say on that.
And this is the struggle of this podcast. So, food deserts, you're 20
Yes.
minutes out from
Yep.
where you can find fresh
no
produce.
fine cheese.
And that's a flop.
Flop.
it's a flop.
So we're bringing it right back.
Yes.
There we go.
So, setting up this cheese case, my first like cheese I ever had that was just like, oh my, like, brain expanding.
Yeah.
Like, there's rainbows was Pleasant Ridge Reserve from Wisconsin.
That is a delightful cheese.
It's so good. And I want to say that it's, I'm not going to say it because I'm going to say the wrong thing. And there's going to be like a homie out there. It's like, girl, you said the wrong cheese that began with a B. But Andy Hatch is incredible. He treats his cows really well. That's his summer cheese, and his winter cheese is Rush Creek Reserve, which, like, if you haven't had it before, it's like bound in spruce. You cut open the top, you eat it with a spoon. It's like cheese pudding.
Cheese pudding.
Cheese pudding.
I
Let's
want
go.
to know about
I want some
her.
cheese pudding. All right. All right.
You know what? Max not being here is good because he's hella lactose intolerant.
Oh, yeah,
but
for
he
sure.
loves cheese, so I feel like this would be like taunting.
Well, yeah, but I mean,
taunting conversation.
shout out to our producer Max, who unfortunately could not join us today. However, once he hears this, it's gonna really amp up that lactose intolerance
Yep,
there.
mhm,
But you know what?
I have
We're
some suggestions for him later on.
Cheese
So,
pudding.
good.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
But
This episode might be named Cheese Pudding. Go off, though. I was like, I might. Go on.
so after that, I was like, wow, I love cheese. And then I started working in other restaurants. I quit the pastry thing before they could fire me, which was incredible.
You know what? That's a mood.
That's a whole ass mood.
When I went into like the chef, I'm like, yo, I think I gotta go. And she's like, well, I'm glad you said it before I did. Like, oh, it's fine. We're still friends.
Like, everything's good. It's gonna be all right.
Was it Dana?
No, it was Sam. Sam was right before Dana came in.
Okay.
Or I think it went Sam, Anna, Dana.
Yes.
Yeah, and then from there, I worked at a couple of restaurants. The last big one I was at Fat Rice.
Oh.
And it was right during the year that they got their Bon Appetit best restaurant. And I met Stanley Tucci. He's really hot in person.
So let me just go ahead and say something about Stanley Tucci. I'm pretty sure there's a video of him making like a cosmopolitan. A Negroni. And I was just
he shook a Negroni.
Yes.
Well,
he shook a Negroni.
Let that man do what he's got to do.
So good doing it.
I was just like dapper, fly, head to toe.
Stanley Tucci is a bop.
Yes, bop for days. And also,
not that he shook that Negroni though, but
it proves how hot he is.
Yes,
like we're still giving him the pass.
Overlook.
Yeah.
I mean,
the Negrones.
These are just the facts. Okay, it's just I can't everyone was out here, dogging barefoot Contessa, which by the way I can go into a whole conversation about that woman,
Wait,
but I'm not going to do
barefoot Contessa?
So barefoot Contessa, bitch. Like I want to say like during the height of the pandemic was showing people how to make a Cosmo and like. It was like one of the biggest Cosmos that you've ever seen in your life. And she's like, my husband.
She's a happy
Daniel,
poor person all the time.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
But she's like, my husband Daniel is just like out, like, skipping through the prairie, and I'm just here making the world's biggest Cosmo. And people were dragging her all over Twitter, and I was just like, celebrate this woman. Celebrate this woman. Time does not exist right now.
She is in her own world.
Exactly. I'm
Let
just
her
like
be an alien.
Exactly. I'm just like, have a great time.
Was this during the pandemic?
Oh, it's like the height of the pandemic.
Oh my God, we were all drinking like that.
Exactly.
Yes.
I was just like, I'm like, she just...
A bottle of wine is a serving of wine.
Thank you so very much. That part. So
I think
it is what it
the
is.
pandemic had the reverse effect on me where I went from a bottle of wine as a serving of wine to if I have 3 glasses of wine, it is time for me to take a nappy by.
That is fair.
And
that is fair.
And I've accepted it.
Well, and I've, started, kind of going into like my pre-pandemic routine, even though we're still very much in a pandemic. But you know what? This is not open for discussion. These are just the facts.
Yeah.
But anyhow, I decided to go for a walk yesterday, and I live in Lakeview, specifically Wrigleyville, Boys Town area, and I'm just minding my own business. I'm just like, the sun is shining. We're like, we're getting a little taste of spring. And next thing I know, I'm just like, okay, there are baseball fans everywhere.
Oh God!
And I'm just like, I'm gonna turn my black ass right on back, and just like, you know what? I'm a crack open a window a little more than what it's been, because I just
was it nice when you weren't terrorized by Cubs fans?
Oh, it was amazing. It was amazing.
It's that time of the year again, y'all.
It's the time of the year.
One of the line cooks came into work 2 hours late because him and his dad have a tradition of going to the first game of the Cubs season every year. And I was like...
But when was that? Because I feel like it just kept happening.
It was Sunday. No, not Sunday. What day do I work with him on the line? Thursday.
Well, because yesterday was Sunday and something was definitely popping off at Wrigley. And I was just like, and also maybe I'm just getting older. I'm like, I can't handle this. I'm like, let me just take my black ass back in the house.
When that one day that it was like 70 degrees outside, and I was like, I'm a microdose. I'm gonna take a little bit of shrooms and go for a walk. And I regretted it the moment I left the house because everyone and their fucking children were outside. And I love kids, but not when I'm microdosing.
No.
I beelined it to the bubble tea shop, and I took my ass back home. I was like, I cannot.
Love it.
But my depression and anxiety felt amazing when I got home. It was like gone. So
that's why I love microdosing.
Yeah.
So again, it's always a winding road over here.
Okay.
In terms
Yes.
of
No.
service.
I remember where we are.
But yeah.
So yes, I got a little burnt out. I started developing some trauma signs while I was at the restaurant that I was at, and was just like, I'm gonna quit and I'm gonna work at Whole Foods. Because they have
Is that like a trauma swap? Okay.
Well, I mean, but if you also look at it like, whatever amount of money an hour, you have a schedule. If someone says anything
There's a
weird
bit more
to you,
structure.
a bit more structured,
Yeah.
and you'll get fired if you yell at somebody.
Yeah.
Which one did you work at?
I worked at the one in Boys Town.
Oh,
That is my grocery store.
I
Oh my
love
god!
that one.
What year? Because if I was fucking working at Kit Kat and you were there, I'm gonna.
This would have had to
myself.
be like 2014.
Yes.
Yeah. I was in specialty. Like
I would run over there like at least 3 times a week because we were out of something at the restaurant.
oh god.
So we've just been missing each other this
Yeah.
whole time.
Totally.
Cool.
Like I one of my favorite ones was like running into Juan Kim there and just like him ordering chocolate and just like
Shout out to Juan Cam.
oh my god. I like called him out the other day. I'm like, do you remember when you got like 5 pounds of chocolate and I had to cut it with a cheese wire and you were like mean to me about it? And he was like, I don't remember. I'm like, cool.
You're like, just checking.
Yeah.
Just checking. There's that.
But while I was there, it was as you guys know, that Whole Foods is connected to the Center on Halsted.
Absolutely.
So with that mixed population of like, you don't know who's coming in.
Never.
Right.
And I would have people that are trans sex workers coming in and being like, I want to pair a wine and a cheese with this chocolate cake that I have.
Yes.
And then,
Beautiful.
Yes. Love the range of diversity there.
Yes.
and like, shout out to my coworkers there. Like they were all incredible and were all like so good about it to where like that kind of forced me to start thinking about this where like cheese, wine should be for everyone.
Yes.
And
Yeah, beautiful.
when you're talking to someone, you should ask them their pronouns. You should know where they're coming from. Talking about money shouldn't be like a black mark because like,
Yeah.
girl, I know like how hard you had to work. Like, what do you want from me right now?
Yes.
And
Right.
what can I provide for you? So I worked
That's
there for
beautiful.
Treating people like people. Crazy.
Yes.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And something that I noticed there where specifically people of color would circle around the counter and like be too afraid to like come up.
Actually come up. Yes.
Oh.
And then I started making eye contact. I'm like, hey, like, what's up? Do you want to try some cheese? Do you want a sample? And then gradually bringing in, it's just like there's this like fear of like, I don't know enough. I didn't go to school
ask.
for this, or like, this is outside of my class that I really wanted to like dispel and just be
Yes.
like, yo, if you don't know anything about Brie, just talk to me. I look like you.
That's the whole thing.
Well, and that
Like,
goes a long way.
It does.
It's like
Yeah.
I feel like when I was working in just any place that was an open kitchen and they would see a black person on the line, like people felt like, oh yeah, I could be here.
Absolutely.
You know?
It's
And
almost
it's
like they have permission now.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
It's like identifiable permission. It's
Yeah.
so, interesting. for
And
sure.
like, I just had the experience this weekend of one of my coworkers because he like has never worked with a black woman before. And he finally was like, this is the first time in the entire length of the industry that I've been doing this that I'm working with a black woman. So he like, from the day that I started, had a million questions for me about like where I've been, what I'm doing, like, and not in a douchey way, but in
Okay,
a genuinely interested to know like what I've done and how like I'm just sort of here hanging
and
out.
that's, and that's also fascinating as well because we have an upcoming drop, but everyone will have interacted with that once that happens, about white individuals speaking to minority classes about what makes them comfortable, how did they get to a certain point, but genuinely caring. Because there is
J Money.
Yes, there's an aspect of that there to where it's just like, sir,
yeah.
ma'am, you don't, but there seems to be like a genuine rarity.
Yes. Yeah. No. I'm like flashing back to last week where I'm just like, why are you telling me all the social justice work that you're doing? Are you trying to
Yes.
Oh
impress me, or are you trying to get in my pants? Like, just like,
right.
like, let me know.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. It's like, it's such a unique fine line. And part of it is just like, is that barrier naturally there because of all of the societal trauma in which we all carry? Or also, is it there because we simply don't know how to read that genuine interest? Or is it a combination of both?
I would say a combination.
Yeah, I was
Yes,
like, it would have to be, right?
absolutely.
Yeah.
So but being able to acknowledge that, because I mean, I have said numerous things in the past where it's just like, oh, like, I'm allergic to X. And it's just like, oh, like, what is X? It's just like, sometimes I've been allergic to a white woman because we have just argued and we just haven't connected. And I'm just like, oh, okay. And then like we want to have a conversation about language. And it's like, that's something that I'm never going to facilitate a conversation about language as dictated by white passing individuals ever. Because language is embedded within my identity and my experience as being a Black queer person. Like, I mean, if I have to pass it, then it's just like, I might as well just pass you by because then, like, you're not for what it is that we're trying to do over here.
Yeah.
Right? And that's a solid acknowledgement.
Absolutely.
It's just like, if you're not going to ride for me and like ride for like the crew like heavy as you would expect them to ride for you, because
Why bother?
then why bother?
Yeah. I mean, I also can't say anything though, because I very recently sent a DM to Elise Myers, the white lady on Instagram who makes those videos where she's like sitting at a desk and she leans forward a little bit and is like, if you go to a restaurant and the host is walking you to a table and you're not walking fast enough, you will be left behind.
Oh, that's real. That is real.
I've done it before.
Yeah, absolutely. Justin, can you go ahead and help see it? I was just like, they got their running shoes on because this gate is real. Okay, I'm just like, we're gonna put you right there. Okay, no problem. You're halfway across the dining room. The menus will be where you need to be.
Fend for
So there you go.
yourself.
Yes, basically.
There we go.
And I sent
Like,
her
it's
a
turn and burn over
DM.
here, honey. We gotta go.
I sent her a DM the other day because I'm not gonna lie, very, very stoned. And I was like, I don't know how I relate to you so much. And
She's a jerk.
yeah, probably. Yeah, 110%. I was like, I just like, I don't really relate to white women very much, but like, I get some of the things you're saying. No response.
She read it?
Oh, I didn't check.
You should
I
check.
should check and see.
You should check.
But I was like, as soon as I sent it, I was like, oh, it's too late. It's in
You
the
can
universe.
unsend it.
Before the other person sees it?
Yeah.
Oh, it's too late now. It's been days.
Oh.
Well, I mean, if they haven't, actually keep it. I think it's really important. I think it's really important for that energy to be out there. So yeah, keep it. Absolutely.
I'll send you some videos later, Justin, so you know who I'm talking about.
Okay, please do. I can't wait.
Yeah.
So I love bringing up the identity accessibility into like your craft, and just like you being mindful of that, because I can't speak for everyone, but I feel like a large majority of individuals would just be like, oh, it's just like it's another person. But it's like, because that's a privilege in and of itself, right?
Yeah, I mean, it is a privilege, but like, I love working the hospitality industry. Like,
Same.
I love taking
Same.
care of people. And even like when I'm working in a grocery store, I still absolutely care that you're getting everything that you need.
Right.
And if you're gonna like spend the money, then like, of course I'm gonna talk to you. If I'm getting like benefits and I get to like have access to this product, like I can't help but be compelled to like take
Right.
care of you.
Well, and also that's a very unique ecosystem within the hospitality spectrum, right? Because just in my experience with restaurants, it can feel very formulaic. Like, these are the things in which like you need to do because you got to keep the lights on. But a grocery store, it's just like, it's like a wonderland over here.
Yeah.
I love a grocery store. Favorite place in the world.
Oh my god, especially when the bars are open too.
Whole Foods? Okay, so when
I
I
got something to say about that.
started...
Real quick, I got something to say about that. And Mama, go ahead. Go
When
ahead.
I started... First of all, when I started going to Whole Foods in general, it was because I was dating MJ, which we discussed is like how I was pointed in your direction.
I still love that like,
Yes.
that's great.
And I would
I don't know
like...
anything about this, but this just makes me happy. Go
I
on.
would-
Jay is an incredible cheesemonger.
Yes.
Oh, love that.
Now in North Carolina,
Oh, good.
doing the whole thing.
Oh.
Bought a house.
Oh.
I know.
Please
they do
tell
that?
them I
How-
said hey.
how they do
I
that?
will.
How they do that?
How they do that.
Saving
Yeah.
that money.
Yeah.
But this happened last time. Just keep it.
Yeah, okay, no problem. I was just like, we're getting another round here, my
Is
friend.
this the
Okay, there we
banana
go.
boy?
There you go. Perfect. There we go. We have another delicious offering from our friends here at Garnet. So thank you so much, Ryan. We're still kicking it with our friends from Three Floyds Distilling. This is featuring their rum, a banana puree, espresso, cinnamon syrup, and a banana chip. Okay, sir.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
This smells delicious. Thank you.
Yes.
So I'm gonna get a visceral reaction for saying this. I can't stand coffee, so I will not be partaking. However, it looks beautiful. I know it's gonna taste beautiful. Can one of y'all help me out here?
I got you.
Okay, perfect. Yes. No, I already said what.
Okay.
I was like,
so,
yeah.
As someone that loves a good banana, okay, it is very smooth and refreshing. It has the texture of
Come through texture
of a banana, you know, but not like you're chewing on a banana, but that like if you have a banana smoothie or something, you know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking
It's got
about.
a good body.
It has a good body.
like body yada yada or
It reminds me of like an espresso martini, but not like
an
inseparable.
espresso martini.
No, exactly. Like I would drink this.
Yes, and you
Yes.
wouldn't feel like weird or embarrassed about it.
No. Mm-mm.
Right.
No.
Again,
And
if-
the cinnamon is this
Yeah,
what's
this is-
happening?
yeah,
right
yeah,
here?
this
Yeah,
is
it's
perfect.
delightful.
Yeah. Well,
if I were to pair this with the cheese,
Tell us, please. I'm ready.
I would go with either Pierre Robert or like Briat Savarin. Like a nice like big
I
French
can see your
like
Robert. Yeah.
creamy.
I think that we should totally talk about like doing a little collab.
Justin wants-
out here.
Justin-
I want to.
I
make
can
that
see it
happen.
happening.
Yeah, like
we'll
it's
be
all-
like at Vavoom Studios
It's just
in like
it's-
2 weeks.
Yeah, I'll be like, let's talk.
I'll wait for the email.
But like obviously,
coming. And it's
obviously
coming.
you've seen
It's
the
coming.
Immortal Milk Instagram.
Fire,
Oh my
And it is.
fire,
I remember. I feel like I had to pick.
and we got to talk about
something
that
up.
name. But
Yes.
Wow.
I feel like I had to pick something up at Mars, and I didn't end up coming. I ended up sending someone else. But you were doing that. You were curating a setup, and my friend who like went to do it was like, "This is the most interesting person that I've interacted with in weeks," and I was like,
Oh my god.
"Christopher."
So wait, was I plating? Was I like actually making the boxes?
I think so. Yes.
I was wearing a purple tie-dyed Siamese cat muscle thing. And
That's why Trish was like, most fascinating human I've met in weeks.
I might have been crying, but
It's
like
okay.
also happy.
I
Yeah.
love it.
The emotions.
I love it. Well, I'm just like thinking about how I'm sad that I can't.
You can't have this, any of this?
No,
No,
I
that's
cannot.
okay.
I cannot do it. However, shout out to our friends at Three Floyds Distilling for donating this beautiful product, and I'm very happy that everyone's enjoying it.
You want to pass your Bev back?
So no,
No.
I'm all good. So,
Okay.
Alisha, we've touched upon a bit, but I'd like to hear, where do you draw, your influences from?
So I went to school for religion.
Yeah.
Really into art and design, into cartoons, basically anything that I look at, I draw inspiration from,
Okay.
and I write it down because I'm intense.
So how does that
Because you're an
translate-
Aquarius. Because
Yeah,
you're an
fair.
Aquarius.
Yeah.
Fair. But how does that translate to that? Because the study of religion, what is that? Theology? No.
No, it's like the base theology is like when you actually like believe in a
Okay.
certain type of God,
Okay.
and the study of religion is all the religious experience in the entire world and how that functions from culture to culture. I also have a background in anthropology and film.
Huh.
So looking at representation, looking at symbolism, and how like each person interprets their relation to the other. So it's like getting really meta about these feelings.
I took some
Yeah,
religion
wow.
classes because when I first went to college, I thought I was going to be an art historian. That's what I went to
Everyone
college
thinks they're
for.
gonna be.
Art history. And I had to take 3 classes with the same professor who made me cry in his class and in his office 3 separate times. And I was like, I cannot do this.
Right.
So I sold my soul to social work.
That's a good person to sell your soul to.
But my favorite class was the Bible as literature. Hot
was
take.
wild.
Amazing. Wait, DePaul?
Or I went to DePaul,
Okay.
but also Paul in general.
Yes.
Absolutely
oh,
wild.
yeah, 110%. Yes.
So I have a quick question about the religion aspect. So the study of religion does not automatically make you religious, or does it?
No, it doesn't.
Okay. wondering.
It's kind of like if you talk to a physicist or anybody that gets like really deep in their field, you start believing less and you start claiming to believe less and less the further that you get into it.
Right.
Facts, yeah.
Yes, and the reason why I asked
Except for math people.
Yeah, well, but also fair.
we need the math people out there to believe everything that they have discovered. Okay, and also
can't do
shout
that
out to the
work.
scientists as well, because we need y'all to like be very specific in your knowledge. Thank you so much.
Shout outs to you
Yes,
guys.
shout out to y'all. God bless y'all. And I actually really mean that.
My friend Mike is a pure PhD in math.
Oh my God.
And there was one point in his studies where the military tried to buy out his scholarship because what he was doing was like making an algorithm basically to find out like all of the information points of different religions. And cultures and societies. It could be like, and it was just to like gather data, but the military was like, we could use this.
That sounds illegal.
And he was like, I think I might have to drop out of this program
Oh my
if
God.
this happens. So yeah, he did not get bought out by the military, and he is just a regular math dude doing projects.
I feel like
now.
I watched an anime about that.
All right.
But yeah, specifics, religion. You don't have to be about it to learn about it.
For
Right.
sure.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that it's also interesting for people to hear just, another aspect of religion because,
Oh, totally.
for reasons.
Yeah.
I mean,
but we already know that.
I mean,
so.
already to like be completely clear, like I'm agnostic because I've learned so much.
Well, there we go. Same. Yeah. So,
I don't believe in much of anything because I was raised Catholic. So
yeah. So the influence is coming from that of religion.
From religion,
Or like the symbolism.
the symbolism,
Okay,
and the reading the symbolism.
Yes.
And so basically, I hoard information and then I store everything. And it's just like, okay, what mood am I in? It's spring and it's the equinox. I'm gonna go into green. I'm gonna look up Dionysus. I'm gonna look up Maenads, and then I'm gonna think about Greek food. What are the Greek cheeses? How can I actually honor the food ways that I'm like messing with?
I
How
feel
can
like
I make sure?
tell your emotional setup based on your like Instagram
Oh,
story.
you totally can.
Like, it's like you're processing where you're at with your information gathering, and it's well curated like your cheeses.
Oh, thank you.
Yes.
But also like I've worked in amazing restaurants for amazing chefs to where like I save every menu from every restaurant I've ever worked at. Like, oh, that worked.
dang.
I'm gonna put that in my back pocket. Like,
Nice.
Yeah.
So if anybody's listening to this that you saw a smoked ricotta and like lychee together, I'm sorry, I stole that from you 10 years ago.
So, really random. The lychee comment makes me think of a very specific experience because I used to work at a wine bar in Lincoln Park, DOC wine bar, which is now defunct. And still sitting empty, but that is a whole other conversation because that talks about, developers, landlords, shit like that.
Yeah.
Because you had a fire concept there for forever, and now you ain't got shit. But anyway, I worked by myself, open to close Thursday nights for like almost 5 years. And we were insane. I brought this up in the past to where it's like Chicago, when you get a snowstorm, listen,
It's over.
they're out in droves.
Yeah.
Out in droves. I'm just like, I won't even leave my sofa, but like we're on like a 90-minute wait in like this small wine bar, and like I'm not understanding. It's so bizarre.
The weird overlap between Chicago in winter and Vermont and winter is that people will go out no matter what.
Yeah.
And I learned that my first year because that was the polar vortex year.
Yeah, but it's like, look out the window.
They don't care.
They don't care.
They can't drive. They cannot drive
okay,
here,
fair. Yeah.
I will say.
So they'll make a pilgrimage.
Any sort of weather,
they'll make a pilgrimage to the wine bar.
But they will
to the
take
local
the
wine bar.
train or the bus, and they don't care how long they're waiting for it to go home.
That's fair.
They'll stay in line.
That's fair.
And it don't make no damn sense to me as a full Caribbean island bitch, but like, we're doing it.
Yeah. Well, and it was funny because, I mean, this place, it was like, you know, big on first dates, big on just dates in general. You know, flights. It was like fucking Flight City up in there.
Oh my God.
And another episode. And so it was a Thursday night, 4 deep at the bar, every table, charcuterie boards galore. You know, the runner was just like, you know, running because I was also running. And this dude is like, hey man, can me and my girl get 2 lychee martinis? And I said a lot louder than I had intended, but I realized that my soul wanted to say it at that level. I was like, sir, you were in a neighborhood wine bar. Try again. And he was like, oh yeah, I'll just take like a vodka martini. And I was like, there you go. I was like, what are you?
But do you remember Rodan?
Yes,
and their lychee royale.
Oh, yes. I haven't thought about Rodan in forever. Shout out to Rodan.
Oh my God.
Wow.
The like little goth like GM bring out your so like I mean maybe he was thinking about Rodan and they're like he wasn't.
I don't think so. But you know what? I do appreciate that grace towards that man. I really do. I don't.
Justin don't understand, but like,
listen,
grace.
I'm sorry to that man. I do not know that man. Okay. Kiki Palmer.
Nope.
Nope. Never seen that man a day in my life. Could have saw him on my way here today.
But she's in Nope. That's why I said it.
Oh.
Yeah.
Kiki Palmer. That's my. Love it. See.
Full circle.
And also.
that is our guess for the upcoming movie Nope. It's about skinwalkers. That is our like put
a pin in it?
Yeah. That's like
so skinwalkers, doppelgangers.
Yes.
We're still not where we're supposed to be.
Yeah.
Like,
Okay.
My underdog go is Aliens because
wait, the movie Aliens?
No, like what it could be about.
Okay, got it. See, again,
it's one of those suspect trailers.
I'm missing a lot of this because I'm still not familiar. But by the time
have you not seen any of the other ones?
I don't know what we're talking about right now.
Jordan Peele horror movies.
Okay, yeah, I mean,
have you seen
Get Out? Get
have
Out
you seen
stays
them?
on rotation in my apartment. Okay, because it makes me. It makes me real mindful of the company that I keep.
Yes, 110%.
And you know, the circle has gotten tighter. It has gotten, you know, it's just like I'm not doing all of these, you know, just like
I ain't pretending shit these days.
I'm just like this is what it is. I'm just like, no, I do not want to go on a trip with you at all. Okay, I don't want to do it. I'll meet you somewhere. You
are saying things that I should believe in, and I keep doing these things. I keep going on trips, and as soon as
I'm
I
gonna
get
need you to
there,
drop
I'm
the
like,
pin. I'm gonna need you to drop the pin. Okay.
Were you the black
I did
man
that.
in Midsummer?
Basically, I was cheaty 110%.
I saw
well,
him
I'm the
just
TSA
like,
agent from Get Out. Okay, that is who I am. Okay, that's exactly how I feel. I was just like, you haven't even opened my text. Excuse me, your response is green. I don't know where you are right now.
Since the last time that we have
I know
recorded,
Android is real. I'm just saying in general.
Yes. Since the last time we have recorded, I went on a trip with my partner and his sister to a town in Wisconsin that I cannot remember the name of. But the population was like 659.
Oh.
And in the Airbnb that we stayed at the top of a hill, it literally took 3 minutes to drive from the main road to the Airbnb. And when we unloaded all of our stuff,
we need to unpack this conversation. That's what we need to do. I was like, what?
Everywhere, just surrounded by woods on a hill. And there was a phone book for this year, our Lord 2022.
My mother is yelling at you.
Yeah, I'm just like,
And I said out loud.
and I'm sweating.
And I
I'm
said
sweating.
this out loud.
like,
I was
what?
like, no one thought about me when you planned this trip.
No, not at all. Not at all.
Straight
So,
up.
Actually, we're gonna get to this.
Okay.
So, I am friends with a bunch of different like black cheesemongers. We have our own like little group on Facebook, and it's incredible. JLo's amazing. She just started this new column for Culture. But one of the things we've been talking about, where it's just like, we have to let cheese companies know.
Yes.
Or no, we don't actually have to. They have to know when we're put in a situation where we're going to, like, say, the Pacific Northwest, which is already kind of a little weird, going on these, like, cheese trips to find the best, like, blue cheese in the country, to where it might not be safe for a single black woman.
I look up the NAACP, is it safe to go there, before I go there. And I went on this trip because that town did not pop up on it. However, their demographic for black people was 0.44%.
Oh, Jesus. What does that even mean?
That there's
Someone looked at a
I
black
was
person once.
literally the
and felt
only
a
black
lustful thought.
person
Right.
everywhere we went, except for House on the Rock, which, if you haven't been there, it's so good. I got videos. I'll show you
Did you
afterwards.
microdose?
Yes, I did.
amazing.
They were so mad. They were so mad. I was like, I'm sorry. I'm definitely doing that, though.
But yeah, that's definitely like, as I'm like doing more things in the industry, I have to like start thinking about that, where it's just like, you guys didn't think about me and the fact that I would be the only person of color here. And cheese is mostly rural, to where like we're dealing with farms. So
Like,
like,
rural.
like
Rural.
they
Yes.
do not see people of color. So like, yes, it's cute. You saw my Instagram, but also, are you thinking about my safety?
Yes.
right.
110.
Yeah, I mean, and it's great to have a conversation like this because it's bringing up real life experiences and realities to where people just, they don't consider because they've never had to,
Yeah.
Right.
you know?
With 2020 and everything that happened, and knowing that there are only about 20 black cheesemongers, we have made more pushes with ACS, the American Cheese Society, with the people that we work with, where it's just like, this is a problem, this inequity. Like, the fact that I have to rattle off everything I've ever done in my life
Right.
in order for me to like walk into a room, and your industry is going to start dying because the people that are making more money and that are getting into craft beer and like wine, they're black.
Yep.
Yeah.
And they don't want to like buy into this if they see the same older white dude who doesn't know how to talk about wine in the way that, I don't want to say the way that they understand, but in a way
Yeah.
that is actually relevant anymore.
Exactly.
And at one point I went to this workshop where they're like, well, what can we learn from the craft beer industry to like stay modern? Like, what you can learn is that beer is a bit more egalitarian than cheese. So open it up, make it more like class inclusive. And
Yeah.
also, where are the brown people? Where are the women?
Right.
Like, okay, so my brother came to visit me a little while ago. Obviously, black man, but he's very into beer. Started like brewing his own beer when I was in college, like just experimenting with everything. And he, like a black dad / any dad, did so much Googling before he got to fucking Chicago. And then I had to like pare his list down to what made sense. And perfect. And Mars was one of the places that he wanted to go to.
Oh my God.
Yes.
Did you guys go?
We went to the tap room, not the like.
I wasn't there.
Yeah, no, you weren't there, but someone else was there who's a very kind gentleman. I'll tell you off mic a kindness that he did to me, but I don't want to say it on here so that other people think that they can order that when they can't.
Facts.
So my brother had like 1,000,001 questions, and this guy was so enthusiastic about answering his questions and engaging with him and all this stuff. And my brother was like, Chicago's the shit. And I was like, this is not the experience everywhere.
No, it's not.
Right.
Especially for you as like a black man asking all these questions and like having this wealth of knowledge already. It's easy to like engage with you and do that. And like having that conversation with a like Trinidadian man who is like way older than me, who doesn't think about like race the way that I do, he just is like, that person was like so cool, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, it's easy for him to talk to you because you already had a wealth of information, but it's not as easy for everyone else. And I think that the person working that day did a very good job of like interacting and making my brother feel comfortable, but that's not always the case everywhere you go.
So I guess I did work at Mars for a very long time, created a cheese program there, like one of the like regular bartenders. And I feel like I did a lot in talking to my coworkers where I'm just like, yo, it's kind of weird being the only black person in the room. Do you see how uncomfortable I am? Do you want to do the same thing to your guests? And another beautiful thing about that company is that they all come from an art background.
Yes.
To where you don't have that necessarily like Cicerone like pretension there. And they just want people to party. But like that being said, it's not like that. Like I had women come in, they're like, this is the only brewery I can come in with my wife. And you are the only bartender that I've met that like doesn't give me shit. Like that's insane in this day and age. But I mean, craft beer it's egalitarian, but it's still.
So that makes me think about my time at, a very well-known brewery here in Chicago, specifically Half Acre. So I was like, I might as well just go ahead and drop that there. And so someone that is extremely well-known would come in and pull me to the side and be like, thank you so much. I've loved this beer, but I have felt comfortable and safe spending my time here.
Yeah.
Because money's passive, right? So it's just like, oh, you can just go ahead and, pick up your, merch and, your product and kind of keep it moving. But the fact of the matter is, it's just like, you want people to experience it, right?
Totally.
And they were like, you have just provided that not only for me, but also my partner. And being in such a white space, and I've touched upon it before, just about, how like language and music is such an interesting thing. It's just like, how far can you kind of like push the boundary of a white space while still being, identifiable amongst it. Obviously, music is a big part of it.
Absolutely.
So it's just like, but that's a conversation for a whole nother episode. But anyhow, they're like, this just like connects me deeper to them through you. And when I didn't go back, I'm still in contact with this individual. It was just like, yeah, I just don't feel comfortable. But I really appreciate, the 5 years of like getting to know you and you getting to know, me outside of this like big facade.
And that's why representation matters.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So.
Absolutely. I have baby cheesemongers that are like, I'm brown, I'm queer, can you tell me, like, how do I do this? And I'm just like, I think it actually does matter.
It does.
Yeah, it really does.
Like,
it really does. Yeah.
I was like, representation, blah, blah, blah. But the amount of people that I've interacted with that are like letting me know that my representation has mattered, it's like, I'm sorry, I'm so cringy sometimes.
But also, what's great about this conversation is that we all know that, yes, it does matter, but that's not the end all.
Exactly.
Right.
It's the more than that. This is the beginning of that, like, stride. Yeah.
Absolutely. And so, as we're coming up on time, I know, but I didn't do the sigh. You did it for me, but we didn't do the sigh. I haven't done the sigh. But, Alisha, I'd like to talk to you.
You just did it.
Damn it. Okay, we're going to edit it out. Okay, anyhow, we're going to try it again. So there's that. Thank you, Nariba.
You're welcome. Here to call you out since 2019?
Yes, thank you so much. Love to see it. And so I want to talk to you about the status quo.
I knew you were going to ask that question next because I've been over here checking off our list.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
I have to say this in like really like a good way that expresses what I think and also make sure like I'm not blacklisted.
Okay. Yes, go for it.
There are not a lot of black cheesemongers.
No.
The status quo in the cheese industry up until 2020, let's say July 2020.
Okay.
The fact that you have a specific month is like, I've been thinking about this.
Yes.
You have to be white. You have to, if you're not white, you have to be a SOM. You have to have your CCP, or in CCP, that's the cheese, certified cheese professional. You have to have something that says that you belong in the room, or a white man with confidence in a vineyard that has like a cheese adjacent thing with it. And that's kind of who like does the thing. Like before the pandemic, we had Pastoral, we had Standard Market.
Pastoral was the first time I've ever encountered like a cheese shop.
Yeah.
I thought they were like made up things in movies.
I mean,
Straight
that's
up.
real.
Straight up.
That's real. Yeah.
So,
Or it would also feel like inaccessible, right?
Yeah, things
just
only
like,
in France.
Yeah, it's like,
That's
I'm
what
not
I
walking
thought
into
it
a
was.
cheese shop. I will go to a cheese shop, but it's just like, listen, I like spicy cheese. I'm just like, pepper jack, let's go. That's it.
I
That's
put
it.
that on my fucking chorizo and eggs this morning.
Because it's fucking delicious.
Yeah.
I mean, pepper jack, like, also, there's nothing wrong with commodity cheese.
Nothing is wrong with commodity
Commodity cheese? Another
Listen.
episode name drop. Let's figure it out.
The
Okay.
other day,
Yes.
I was
Commodity
so
cheese.
fucking hungry
Yes.
but lazy, and I just heated up a flour tortilla and ripped a slice of American cheese in half and made it into a fucking, I don't want to call it a quesadilla. It's like a grilled cheese.
A cheese fold over.
A cheese fold over. But it was delightful and I loved it.
Cheese has kept so many people fed
Yes.
for so long.
Yeah.
Like, if you were a factory worker, you had a plowman's lunch, you were eating cheese, pickles, and maybe some meat.
You
Like,
just triggered the fuck out of me because my first kitchen job, there was something on the menu called
Plowman's platter.
Plowman's platter.
Yeah, it's an English thing.
And you are the first person to say that out loud and explain what the fuck it is. Because at the University of Vermont, I was just
I had
like,
no
I'm
idea.
just making this.
It's totally a thing. It's usually like pickles, like some sort of spreadable meat, and like there might be an egg in
There
there.
was none of that on this. They
So,
just co-opted
they were just
the name.
saying stuff.
It was basically like a vegetable platter that you would get at Julasco with hummus instead of ranch. That is the only. It was carrot, celery, sliced apples, and I think like either cauliflower or broccoli.
That's a veggie platter.
It's a veggie platter.
It's a
and
veggie
they
platter.
fucking called it the plowman's lunch. And I'm learning right now that it
That
is
ain't
a
right.
lie. Chris, I will text you about this later. It's a fucking lie.
So the status quo in the industry right now.
Damn, that just went
is,
off.
like,
Okay, yeah, I was like, shit. Okay.
well, before the pandemic, and so you all know this. Like, we lived in kind of like a really weird time where everyone was listening to each other, and we had all the like black boxes, and like I had white friends sending me money. Like,
You're damn
I'm
right.
That, you know, like that. Thank you.
Yeah,
but
had
also,
a regular
It
reach out
went to
from
my
Half Acre and be like, can I
dental
pay
work.
one of your utility bills? And I was like, sir, I don't know, but yes.
Yeah, I don't need it, but thank you.
I was like,
Maybe we're gonna like think
I
about
felt
this later.
bad.
Yeah, I was
but,
just like,
I
was
felt
like,
a
what do
little
I have
bad
to,
because
what do I
I
have to
feel
do for
like-
that? What do I have to do for that?
I was in Trinidad. Like we busted out of that shit way sooner than here. And I was like, people were like sending me money for reparations. I wanted to be like,
No.
I don't think this is for me, but I'm gonna
It's
take
for you
it
right
and I'm
now.
gonna pay my bills. You know?
Yeah.
2016 Beyonce. Continue.
the Venmo notifications of just like, sorry. And I was like,
What'd you do?
I was like,
What did your grandfather do? Send me a photo. Let me know.
let's archive it.
Yes.
Well, can you already archive the things that have been archived?
I
Because
mean,
it's
if you
facts
don't
out
take
here.
your phone
Yeah, it's true.
off of a certain setting, it archives everything.
Oh, that's fair. I'm
It's
just,
true.
you know,
So-
I'm just saying, if you were out here doing some crazy ass shit, just because I haven't read about it, don't mean that it hasn't hit the book somewhere.
Listen, if anyone
it
knows
has.
about a study
It
that's
has.
like tracking the statistics of women watching true crime, please let me know about it. I want to be part of the study. I want to know how it's going to affect us in 20 years because it is real.
You talking about white on white crime?
No, I'm just talking about like true crime murder mysteries.
Oh,
They've
word.
been like slowly gearing towards women.
Got it.
Like in a very impactful way. And I just spend so much time watching them that I've started contemplating, like, in 20 years, society-wise, how is this going to affect us? Because I have, like, pepper spray. I want to get one of those, like, cat claw things for punching bitches in the face if they try to run up on me.
Damn.
Bitches is a gender-neutral term for anyone
Yes, it
who's
is.
running behind me in the dark. So, like...
Nuts.
I want to know how me binge watching murder mystery makeup is going to affect society in 20 years. And if you need someone to be part of that case study, I am willing to do it.
So
Because
that
I
is
think
fascinating.
that it should be a case study.
Because the way that you're focusing on that for a case study, it's just like I'm focusing on like the college admission scandal. Because
That
I
is so
think that I've mentioned
2019.
not for me over here, okay? Because I have found out that like a new kink of mine is like white on white crime.
Oh,
and I'm just like
110%.
I was like,
Oh,
this
you're
is
talking
insane.
about Aunt Becky from Full House.
I'm talking about all of that. I'm talking about all of that. Yeah, I'm talking about all of that. I was just like, you know what? I would love to revisit these repercussions in about 20 years, but I'm actually really happy to see it all falling down right now.
110%.
So I'm just like, wow. I was like, y'all got checked, huh? Alicia, status quo.
So status quo. So before the Great Uprising, that was that.
Or
But
the Great
then-
Resignation, as they like to say.
Oh my! I'm
Yeah.
sorry that people know their worth now.
110%.
Or people are comfortable expressing their value.
Shout out to Gen Z
Exactly.
for giving me that. Because they were just like, I quit. And I was like, at first I was like startled and appalled. I was like, what do you mean you just are quitting? And
They're like, yes,
yeah, and now I'm like,
yes.
That's not what I said.
I don't like this and I don't have to stay here?
No. And you ain't got to
Question
stand. And you
mark?
ain't got to stand for it.
This is wild. Also, conflicting thought. They didn't grow up with corded phones, so they're not tethered to anything, so they don't give a fuck. We were all here, like, in the kitchen.
So specific, and I get everything that you're saying right now.
Literally, our brains are wired
Yes,
differently.
yes.
Like,
Right,
And I'm
right.
like, just try something
Right,
for longer
right,
than 6
right.
months.
Yeah, I used to just like, listen, the longest cord. I was like, listen,
I will hide in the pantry
I'm
to
like,
make this phone
yes,
call.
because I need that corded phone to just reach my stereo, so I can play like a jam on the phone, acting like I'm not there.
Yes.
I'm
Tenacity.
just like, there we go.
resilience.
Yeah,
Like,
commitment,
The
Exactly.
90s?
pliability,
yes.
all of that, cassettes. Yeah, WGCI. All of that.
Listen, I won tickets
But
for
yes.
my brother to go to a hot something summer jam by knowing all the words to All Star by Smash Mouth.
Okay,
Disgusting.
No. Alicia. Okay, okay,
Boston.
okay.
Disgusting.
I was like, no, we're gonna if this conversation was like a car on a highway, U-turn. Hey.
So status quo right now. So after everything happened, again, the homie Ajayla did this really beautiful speech in front of ACS where it's just like, we're out here, and if we actually truly think about the industry, there's a group of people that are not heard. There are a group of people in the country that are not served. What can we do? And how can you listen to me and this like invisible group of mongers, which I was one of them, because like it was very much like civil rights era where we're like, girl, you're gonna do it, we're gonna pump you up. If anybody like says anything, like let us protect you.
Like hidden figures
Yes.
versus didn't figures. Black Lady Sketch Show is back, y'all.
Oh my god,
I cannot.
I have not watched the new like season
Yeah,
yet.
like,
The first episode I watched it today. Sorry, it's in my brain.
So that happened, and there's been a bigger push to be more inclusive. We're gonna see how long it lasts. Like, I mean,
I am riding the fucking coattails of that as hard as possible. Do you know how
Hey.
many pop-ups I did when the pandemic started?
Oh, so many.
That's fine.
Like every other week I had a pop-up.
Yeah.
I mean, I had a homie reach out to me, and like, I'm not gonna name her here, but like, we all follow that Instagram account.
Yeah.
To where she was like, I know how to use social media, and I want to leverage my white privilege because I need to like be good with myself and also be good with you. What can I do for you?
Oh dang!
Wow.
And like,
Tucks hair behind ear.
it's been pretty incredible.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So I will say right now, I have benefited from it.
Oh yeah.
And I'm now like I'm going to be at the ACS like cheese judging competition in Minneapolis in like a month. Where
Damn it, we're not gonna overlap. I'm going for a wedding.
May 15th?
No.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It's okay.
We're
What?
keeping it in. We're keeping it in. Go on.
Just
Yeah.
like your blackety black, we can say fuckity fuck, you fine.
There we go.
Okay, can I ask? It's gonna be like a slightly personal question, but when you are asked to do something and you know it's a situation where you're going to be the only person of color, probably invited to this very white table, what does that feel like to you on the inside?
It feels gross.
Okay.
But
Same.
then that makes me turn into a 13-year-old boy to where I'm like, I'm going to wear the most ridiculous thing and I'm going to make you all deal with the fact that this is absurd, that there are no other people of color in the room.
I lived that life, so I just wanted to make sure
Yes.
that I was like,
The first time I went to ACS, there was someone that I didn't like there who was like mean to a woman with dreads and then made her like go back to Vermont and like,
What?
hi. Yeah.
the
See?
fuck?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I wore this like giant head wrap and was just like writing fake shit down every time he'd said something and just like mean mugging him the entire time. Just
Yeah.
like, I hope you remember
Yeah.
that like, and we are in the same city and I'm going to be a ghost that's haunting you for the rest of your life.
Listen, my
Right.
only regret about going to the University of Vermont is not knowing until my last year there that I could have gotten an entire degree in cheese.
Naribo,
I did not know that until my bitch, I was
There are no... all right.
18. There
As
are
far
more
as I-
cows than people there. I should
As
have
far
known.
as you could have worked at Jasper Hill.
One of my old bosses from the student center at the University of Vermont is like Vermont Creamery, like
I
top dog.
love Vermont Creamery.
Frank, if
Great.
you want to host Alisha and I for a tour of your facility, that would be dope. You
won't-
know who you are, Frank.
I won't wear my giant head wrap.
We can. He doesn't give a fuck.
I will wear it.
And even if he
Yes.
does, wear it. Okay? I was like,
He
that's how I
won't.
feel.
I love him, Frank Munoz. Thank you. Vermont Creamy, make it happen.
I wish we had more time.
I know, because I just totally did the sign. But so, I have a final question from you. Well, it's twofold. So, we talked about your time within the industry. We've also talked about like your identity accessibility within the industry. I'd like for you to share a few words about what you feel like not only the industry should hear, but like general public.
Yeah.
in
What do you
regards
want to tell people?
So I think in general, don't fetishize pairings. Jesus Christ, just eat cheese. And if something tastes bad, then deal with it. Don't like make it this like giant thing. But for the industry, inclusivity and just pay people better. Like somms are making way more money than cheesemongers right now, and like the wealth of knowledge is there. Like everyone's making about like $13 an hour right now, and that's just it's stupid.
Do you feel like there's like gatekeeping within the cheese industry? There's, excuse me, always I didn't want to say cheese. I was
Specialty.
Specialty. Yes.
No, not necessarily. I don't think the American cheese industry knows how powerful it can be yet. There's not that like I don't want to say pretension that like
Because in my mind, I feel like people think that cheese is pretentious, but it's not.
it's not.
It's like,
It's been made
so
pretentious.
when Max found out that your Instagram handle is Immortal Milk, he freaked the fuck out. He was
Yes.
like, yes, this makes sense. Like all this, like so much commentary. But I was like, in my brain, I was like, that makes the most sense of what you're trying to do and what you have like done this entire time.
Absolutely.
Is like you're paying an ode to the legacy of cheese
Yes.
in everything that you do.
Yes.
And it's very much like with saying curated in that you all have intention in every piece that you put down.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Agreed.
And I mostly work with American cheese because like the stuff that they're making in the South, the stuff that they're making in Wisconsin is, I mean, really everywhere is on par with what you get from France and Germany. And like my big thing with the industry right now is just like own your shit. Like we're making these amazing spruce bound cheeses that you can find nowhere else in like the world. Why not just like yell about it? Why not pay the people and like respect the craft in the way that the French and the Germans do?
I have a real question. I don't know if it's controversial or not, but I'm going to ask it.
So
How do you feel about Red Rock?
what do you mean how I feel about it? You mean
Like the
one of the best cheeses from the Midwest
Right.
that looks like literally a like shaving off of the Red Rock Amphitheater
Yes.
and like, oh my God, it's gorgeous. Thank you. It's absolutely gorgeous.
Literally.
And also
I was
Chris Morelli is like
wait.
a fucking artist.
Yeah.
Like
one of my favorite cheeses, and people have opinions about it, and I'm like, shut the fuck
they're
up.
all wrong. And also, so I'm a blue cheese apologist to where I love blue cheese. And
I love it so much.
the best way to get someone to eat blue cheese is give them Red Rock because you're like, oh, it's cheddar, and they're like, then they start eating it. And I'm like, wait, psych.
Literally-
it's a cheddar, a blue cheddar.
Went to Vincent's last night just to get a cheese plate because I was like depressed and wanted to feel better about my life. And when the cheese plate came out and there was a slice of Red Rock on it, I talked to my boyfriend about it nonstop for 30 minutes. And I don't think he loved it as much as I did. He really enjoys the cheese, but my commentary was unnecessary. That's it.
That makes me really happy, but also makes me really sad because we're hitting time.
I know,
Okay,
that's
heard.
it. That's it.
So, Alisha, how was your time with us?
This was incredible.
Oh,
I mean,
thank you
it's-
for doing this.
I mean,
Thank you
of
so much.
course. And it's like, one, it's really nice to be in a room filled with people of color talking about cheese and not feeling weird about it. And also,
It's
I
nice
love,
to learn about some cheese.
I mean, we can go on forever.
I mean, I'm looking
Yes.
forward to it. Yes. Mhm. Yes.
But no, this is an honor, and a lot of my good friends have like come through these doors, and I'm happy to be like part of that league now. So
Yay.
thank you.
Well, God damn it. Thank you. Thank you for that. And so as this, really wraps up our second season, it has been an absolute pleasure to just go through the roller coaster that is this industry, and also to have you, kind of close us out with such a unique perspective, of course. And doing the things that I know
Do
to
the
do,
shout outs.
First and foremost, again, I want to thank our friends here at Blind Barber Chicago for hosting this necessary conversation. Also, supreme shout out to our friends at Three Floyds Distillery out in Munster, Indiana. As we talked about briefly before, is like, you probably know the beer, but the spirits have been in the market for the last 2 years. It's a brand that is women made and women led. The spirits, which include gin, rum, whiskey, and aquavit, come in at about 100 proof, and the grains in the distillates are the botanicals they use in the gin and aquavit are of high quality ingredients. And just for us to be able to highlight newer brands that are coming onto the market is something that we're extremely fortunate to be able to do. Also, shout out to our friends at Corey Ice, because we definitely believe that one of the secret ingredients in these beautiful garnet produced cocktails is the ice. An amazing thing about Corey Ice is that they are a second chance program, and they cut their ice with the same steel that is used to make Japanese samurai swords. So shout out to them
Always
on
a
that.
bop. Never.
That is a
flop.
bop all day. So yes. And then also I want to thank the entire crew for making this happen. Also our friends at Your Plant Daddy for the aesthetic. Also shout out to Ryan, shout out to Cortez, shout out to Marcus, shout out to Max. Max, we miss you and we love you. With that, because I don't want to get emotional.
Yes.
I am Justin Arnett Graham, and you can find me on Instagram at ThisIsBico. And Alisha, how do we find you?
You can find me at Immortal Milk on Instagram. It's _
Okay.
Immortal Milk.
Okay. Great.
And my name is Nariba Shepherd. We're signing off for our
Oh, you got to give some more
season.
energy on that. Come on.
You can find me on Instagram at Rebaroo, and definitely take this chance on summer vacation to listen to all of our previous episodes, because we're going to come back in the fall and slap you all in the face. It's been real.
Absolutely. And so with that, we also will be dropping some merch this summer. Also, feel free
Yes.
to check out our freshly dropped website, termsofservice.media. Also, feel to reach out to us directly at connect@termsofservice.media as well. And stay up, stay golden, and peace.
Bye.
Whew. Done.